next session, and I would like to share with you our special guest today. Just a second, I just bring this one up. Right, so right here in the room we have Danielle been waiting for us, and thank you very much for being here today and spend the Sunday afternoon in New Zealand to come here and talking to our students and sharing with our students lots of tips. I have the title in Vietnamese, but also have the little ones in English there as well. So with all the students, I just wonder, right, in this session, we are going to do totally in English. And if you have any question, please just type in the chat box. And then Daniel will be able to answer your question as well. But we are hoping that we'll be able to go through a lot of questions today. So before that, I just like to speak in Vietnamese, just very tiny bit, just in case we have some parents in the room, and hopefully they can follow up. So excuse me. Cô xin chào các chào phụ huynh này và chào các học sinh này. Và trong buổi hôm nay thì chúng ta sẽ có giao lưu với lại Tổng Giám đốc Daniel Fleming, là người mà đã dành ngày Chủ nhật hôm nay để chia sẻ với chúng ta về những cái bí mật mà nhà tuyển dụng cần là gì. Và đây là những cái yếu tố vô cùng là quan trọng, bởi vì là các bạn sẽ hiểu hơn được là những kỹ năng gì chúng ta cần chuẩn bị để cho cái lộ trình thành công của chúng ta sẽ tốt hơn rất là nhiều. Đặc biệt là các bạn đi du học thì chẳng có gì hơn là được giao lưu với chính người tuyển dụng, lại là Tổng Giám đốc ở New Zealand. Và đặc biệt là Daniel thì đã tốt nghiệp PIHMS năm 2009, nhưng mà chỉ trong vòng có hơn 10 năm thôi đã trở thành một Tổng Giám đốc, và đồng thời cũng là người mà là chủ tịch của phòng thương mại của vùng Taranaki là ở New Zealand, và ngoài ra cũng là thành viên của hội đồng quản trị của phòng thương mại của New Zealand nữa. Đấy, cho nên là người mà có rất nhiều các kinh nghiệm, và cũng là người mà là chủ tịch của một cái ban gọi là West End của trường gọi là polytechnic ở tên là WITT tại New Plymouth. Đây là người vừa làm về giáo dục này, vừa làm về doanh nghiệp này, và trong vòng 10 năm đã được cái vị trí như vậy. Thì bây giờ là xin mời các bạn là xin chào, gửi lời chào tới Daniel ở trong chat box để Daniel có thể nhìn thấy được bằng tiếng Anh nhá, để chúng ta có thể làm quen. Và trong cái buổi hôm nay thì chúng ta sẽ không phải là buổi lecturing, đấy mà sẽ là buổi giao lưu để các bạn có thể hiểu được là từ phía các nhà tuyển dụng thì sẽ cần những kỹ năng gì đối với lại các bạn. Ok, thế bây giờ là những ai mà không nghe được tiếng Anh nhá, thì mọi người có thể là type vào trong cái chat box ấy, thì là cô sẽ dịch sang tiếng Anh để giao lưu với Daniel. Và yes, alright Daniel, hopefully you learn some Vietnamese.
Yeah. You've covered it all.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much for being here today, and I have just done some housekeeping and some messages to our audience, and our students going to say hello to you in the chat room, and yeah, so we just take it from here. And today is more of the sharing and asking for like some of your tips and interviews on the skills of the new grads, and also like what are you looking for from employees, and it's important for our students to prepare from now and before they come to New Zealand. And when they come to New Zealand, hopefully they will be able to fit in with the culture here. And as I share with our students that you graduated from PIHMS. It's one of the institutions that we have been working with, and we run project for Vietnam and Cambodia. So before that, I'm not sure if you PIHMS also was supported by, visited by the TV from Vietnam, and they've done a very short clip. And so before we get into our question, I'd like to invite you to look at this video. It's in Vietnamese, but you will be able to recognize some scenes from PIHMS as well. So everyone, I'd like to invite everyone to check out the video from PIHMS where Daniel graduated.
Đã bao giờ bạn tưởng tượng rằng mình sẽ được học đại học trong một khách sạn chất lượng 4 sao hay chưa? Nếu chưa thì hãy cùng đến thăm một ngôi trường như vậy ở New Zealand.
Ngôi trường đó mang tên Quản trị Khách sạn Quốc tế Thái Bình Dương, đào tạo về quản trị du lịch và khách sạn. Trong môi trường khách sạn này, các bạn sinh viên đóng nhiều vai trò trong thời gian sống và học tập tại đây. Khách hàng, người phục vụ, người quản lý và chi tiêu bằng đơn vị tiền tệ riêng của trường. Với các hoạt động như vậy, các bạn sinh viên sẽ được học tất cả các nghiệp vụ từ kỹ năng quầy bar, nhà hàng, lễ tân, buồng phòng tới quản lý hệ thống khách sạn, tổ chức sự kiện lớn nhỏ. Mỗi nghiệp vụ, các bạn sẽ học từ vị trí nhân viên trong năm thứ nhất và thứ hai đến năm thứ ba, các bạn sẽ về vị trí quản lý.
Phần thực tập hưởng lương ở trường Plymouth này thì có hai kỳ, thì mỗi kỳ là từ 6 đến 9 tháng. Thì sau hai cái kỳ đấy thì quay lại trường học năm 3 thì em có ít nhất là 1 năm kinh nghiệm đi làm. Mình có kinh nghiệm mà, thì mình học nó dễ vào hơn, mình hiểu sâu hơn về cái kiến thức mình học ở trên lớp.
Kết thúc 3 năm học, mỗi bạn được nhận 3 bằng cấp tương đương với 3 trình độ khác nhau từ thấp đến cao và tốt nghiệp với bằng đại học của New Zealand được quốc tế công nhận. Cùng với đó là nhiều cơ hội việc làm so với những sinh viên ra trường mà chưa có kinh nghiệm. Đây chính là một thuận lợi rất lớn để các bạn đón nhận cơ hội nghề nghiệp tương lai của mình.
All right, everyone, and let's welcome back to our session today. And yeah, let's we have a lot of questions for Danielle today. And if you have any other questions, you are welcome to type in the chat box, and then we'll be able to help you to ask Danielle more questions as well. So as you know that Danielle graduated from PIHMS in 2009, and now he's the general manager of King Queen's Hotel. It's a beautiful hotel, and the Vietnamese ambassador stayed there twice already, which is and he had really great experience at a hotel, and I was there like a couple of times. So yeah, so congratulations to all of your achievement in the last 10 years, like to from newly graduate in 2009, and for you to be a general manager now, and also the board member of commerce of Taranaki and also New Zealand. Yeah, it's our congratulations to you, and such an achievement. Yeah, so we'd like to say hello to all of our students here before we yes.
Yeah, oh, thank you, Na. That's great. What a wonderful introduction. And kia ora, everybody. Greetings from New Zealand. Greetings from Taranaki, which is our region, and greetings from New Plymouth, which is our city here by the coast between Mount Taranaki and the ocean, which is just out to my right here, which is looking beautiful and hot and a little bit windy today. And behind me, you might see the shot here is from the South Islands. This is Lake Tekapo. And one of the beautiful churches down there, which is just a really iconic tourism attraction. So it's a great pleasure to be here with you today, and I'm really here for all of you and at your disposal, really. So I'll let you, go for it now, but I'm here to help you guys as much as possible. And might I just say that what a wonderful industry that you're considering studying in. Hotel and tourism management is just such an exciting, fulfilling industry. And I think you're going to love every part of it. So I do hope that we can see you in New Zealand at some stage, and hope that if anything from today, I can share with you some of my learnings and get you inspired around some of the things why I love what I do every day. And I really look forward to speaking with you today.
So yeah, thank you very much. And so Danielle, what brought you to the hotel industry? Like right from the start, because obviously you had a lot of options back then, but why did you choose hospitality and hotel?
Good question. So I mean, I've always loved people and I've always loved business, and the world of hotels combines the best of both. So originally I thought I might be an accountant or work in business in some way or form and study at university, but then I looked at what I really loved and I couldn't see myself sitting at a desk all day every day. So I thought, gosh, it'd be really nice to get out there and work with people. And there's something about hotels that's just exciting, it's fascinating. There's a smell of coffee and there's a buzz and some energy about it. And we're a really people business, with the people that we work with, the people that we get to meet, like your ambassador there, for example, entertainment groups, get to meet all these wonderful, interesting people. And of course, that's the essence of what I've always loved. So I still do the revenue, the finance, the sales and marketing, human resources, all those things. I suppose the hotel industry for me combines the best of everything I love, and that's why I chose to go into it. So I'm from New Plymouth, and of course PIHMS is here as well. So naturally, probably a 5 to 10 minute drive from my house here, I was able to go out to PIHMS. And of course, I haven't lived in this house very long. We built a new house recently, but I did go away and come back, and I'm happy to share some of that with you soon.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you very much for that. And hopefully your reason will inspire some students who are feel related to the reasons, and hopefully they will look at hospitality as their career's future as well. Yeah, so but like not many students after graduation, students move on and they do some work, and some student takes very long time to achieve their dream position. And for you, within 12 years, I bet that probably within 10 years that you become to the position you are now as general manager, and also board members of the several boards in New Zealand. How could you do that?
Maybe just good luck. I suppose if you love what you do, everything's fun, isn't it? So I feel really blessed to be in an industry that is so awesome and so exciting. And I think that's probably been part of the success, that if you love what you're studying, then it's not that hard to learn more, read more, do your best, and get out of everything. If you don't have a passion for something, then of course you're never going to do as well at something. So I think the biggest thing I'd say today is find that passion. If that's hotels, fantastic, you're on the right path. But there's a lot of different industries and environments in that too that you can go into. But my opportunity started at PIHMS, and as part of that, I went out to do a couple of placements. So half the year was spent over in Australia at a tropical resort with the Sheraton group in Port Douglas. And that was a wonderful opportunity, working in the pool bars and then doing some neat things there in the tropics, running golf carts around with trays of cocktails, and then having some fun in the very hot tropical North Queensland. And then I went down to Queenstown and worked at the Millennium Hotel. So that's sort of Queenstown's a very adventure capital, skiing, bungee jumping place in New Zealand. That's a lot of fun. So I suppose after doing my 3-year degree at PIHMS, my CV was looking pretty good, because I had done my academic experience in the practical element of PIHMS, combined with already a year of paid work experience. And then I ended up getting into a graduate program with Intercontinental Hotels. You might know it as IHG, so it's quite big in Southeast Asia as well. And I started down there in Wellington, which is our capital city, at the Intercontinental Wellington. 5-star hotel, 232 rooms, 10 conference rooms, club lounge, lots of beautiful facilities down there in the heart of the capital. And I was just, able to get into a 1-year management traineeship and learn so much from some wonderful people and have some really good mentors. And that sort of set me up really nicely, because as part of that program, I was able to work for 4 months in housekeeping, and the same period in food and beverage and front office. And at the same time, doing different projects, working with our general manager and department heads to learn all about all the different parts of the hotel. So that was a really wonderful experience. After doing that for a year, I decided to stay in Wellington, and I became a duty manager in front office. So helping with the day-to-day supervision of our front desk and overseeing the hotel, weekends and evenings. And then I wanted a new challenge. So after a few months of doing that, I think I was only doing that role for perhaps 7 or 8 months. So I decided to take another challenge within the same hotel. And I suppose this leads on to all these different opportunities with our industry, that you can do so much even under one hotel umbrella, which is pretty special, and under one company. Then I moved into a more sales role as groups and events manager. And that was all about managing our conferencing business and all our entertainment groups. And so I actually got the pleasure of welcoming in and meeting people like the president of the Philippines, or the prime minister of Singapore, or some famous groups like you might have heard of One Direction, things like that. It was my job to do that. The All Blacks, put those groups together, look after them, accommodation, conferencing, food and beverage. And I had to sell all our spaces. So I had to sell the rooms to groups, and I also had to sell the other space. So that was kind of how it kind of all got started. And then essentially there was a new hotel being built in New Plymouth, which is my hometown, where I actually am right now, of course. So this new boutique hotel, the King Queen Hotel Suites, was at quite a high level, sort of around that 4.5-star, 5-star range. I always had an ambition to come back to my hometown at some stage. I thought I might continue on with the international hotels and travel around the world with these big companies, which is still something that I thought I was going to do. But then the pull back home to work with some entrepreneurs who are quite involved in the global coffee business in London and a few other places, restaurants and bars. And I had the privilege of coming on. So I thought I'll just put my hand up and just see if I can be part of a pre-opening of a hotel, which is a pretty special journey when you can see a hotel open, you can hire the team, you can start all the processes, you can build the business and the brand and effectively run it in a very entrepreneurial, quite independent focus. So I was really fortunate to do that. And I was actually 24 when I became the general manager there. And I came in 6 months before the hotel opened. So actually within sort of 3 years of graduating, I became general manager for that hotel. And now I've been at that hotel for 9 years, funnily enough. So I've been fortunate to be part of the hotel when it was just 17 rooms. And now we've doubled in size. We're now 34 rooms. And 5 years ago, I came on as an owner. So I was given the opportunity to stay on and to buy some equity and have some skin in the game. So that kind of changed the future for me around having an investment into the hotel, which is quite rare, quite hard to get into. So that opportunity to get into ownership was pretty special. So of course, let's win-win, dedicate some more of my life to this and continue to grow the business. So that's what's been happening. So now we're owners in the business. I run the business. I get involved in a few more things, like our wider group, the West End Precinct, which is involved with a whole lot of restaurants and bars in the area. And our plan at the moment is we're going to be building another 16 hotel rooms, 6 or 7 luxury apartments that we're selling off, more restaurants and bars and parking space. And we've got a 6-story development that's being built on a piece of land that we own next door. And we're going to try and get the hotel up to around that 50-room mark, more restaurants and bars, inner city living, and have some permanent residents. So it's been quite a journey. It's been lots of fun. And I think that just shows about how amazing this industry is, that at a very young age, if you're willing to work hard, have the right attitude, and live to your dreams and have that passion, then you can go into leadership roles at a very young age and be given those opportunities that other industries simply don't have. So nothing's a given. You've got to work hard for that, be patient and build up a foundation. But ultimately, you have a wonderful opportunity here, guys, to go hard and to seize the day. And you can work on a global scale like I did with some of those international hotel companies, IHG, Hilton, Sheraton, or you can come back to your hometown and be involved in a boutique owner-operated independent hotel. So I think good to try all of those things. It just shows how diverse the industry really is.
Awesome, my goodness, so impressive. And I don't know that you became the general manager like 3 years after graduation, and it's even more amazing, and it's just beautiful, and congratulations. And I mean, like, not everyone could have done the same. So how, like, apart from you like having all the like the passion, obviously, like it was a passion to in the hospitality industry, and also you chose PIHMS to study. So do you think PIHMS equip you well, like, for all of the roles and opportunity to be like to become a general manager in such a short period of time?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, PIHMS is great, and what I loved about PIHMS is that you get to experience everything in the hotel in a very short space of time, right? So it's a simulated hotel environment. So you're both a guest, you're a staff member, you're a student, all these things. So you go and work in the restaurant, and then the next day you're sitting in the restaurant being served, or you're managing the restaurant, or you're in the kitchen, you're in housekeeping or front office, and all of these things, give you a really fast track, great piece of exposure around what the core service and operational elements of industry are. And then beyond that, you've got the academic business type degree, which is really exciting as well. So you get to do all the academic components of business management or marketing or research and all those different things, finance. So I think, PIHMS is incredible just when you're there, but also that having that paid industry experience as part of the program means that actually you're not studying, reading reports for 3 years. You're actually out there in the industry, building connections, connecting with industry. And so already coming out of it, having that 1 year of experience, and also, having some money to then pay for part of your study was fantastic. So when I completed my first industry placement, I actually paid for my first industry placement from my first year at PIHMS, rather, from my first 6 months of working. So you can see how that can fast track you as well. So yeah, I think I'm pretty lucky, but PIHMS has been great and highly recommend it. And it's a beautiful place. Taranaki is amazing. I think you'd love it.
Yeah. Wow, you have already inspired myself, right, to look at the industry. But for me to run a project for PIHMS in Vietnam and Cambodia, and to learn about like what PIHMS has to offer, and all of the students or the graduates who have such like achievement like you, it's really inspired me to do more and more confidence. So yeah, thank you very much for that. Yeah, and also
I think all of you will do much better than me, I'm sure.
Well, you become their dream now, like the goals and you know how to get there. But I mean, at the end of the day, that everything's possible, and you've done it. You show that you can do it. So no reason why potential students can't do it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, go for it. And I think this is the first step, isn't it? You know, come to New Zealand, embrace the culture, and enjoy the beautiful place that we have to live. Build some great connections, and study at a wonderful place. I mean, win-win-win.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, thank you very much for that. And as you work in the industry like, for such a long time, like since like you had internship as well during your study, and now that you've been in the industry for like in the management roles for a long time. So what would be your most challenges like in the hospitality, and also like other students need to be aware of as well?
Yeah, I suppose the best thing about our industry is the people, but also the most challenging part about our industry is the people. So you have to have thick skin in some ways, that, you know, things don't always go perfectly, and have a real problem-solving mindset around being practical and sensible around how you solve issues. Because we're there for our guests, and you can't forget that either, that we're a service industry, so you can't be too big for cleaning a toilet or making a bed, and got to be patient, all those things too. So I think, you know, the people skills and the management of whether that be your team, your colleagues, leading up, leading down, or your guests is probably one of the trickiest things. And then also we're in a world which, again, this is a positive, I suppose, and a challenge is that it can be quite unpredictable. So you might find that suddenly you have a fire alarm go off, or you've got an emergency situation and you've got to do something like that. So we're a 24/7 business, which means that we typically, well, we never stop. There's always somebody there. The hotel runs 365 days of the year, 24/7. So things happen at different times. So I suppose some of the challenges are at 3 or 4 in the morning, having to go in to deal with a situation at the hotel, which adds to the complexities, but also is kind of interesting and a good challenge as well. So I think just outline a couple of things there with people, and probably just how you're looking after such a big asset, and that responsibility is something that can be a bit daunting, but ultimately, you know, you learn and you work with those well, that toolbox that you have, and it's amazing how much you will actually know. You'll know more than you always think, I'm sure.
Yeah, and a lot to learn as well. We're always learning constantly as we go along, and yeah, so very great. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, so hopefully, like, it's good for students to know the challenges ahead of them, so they can prepare themselves, like, to how to deal with that. Yeah, and also Danielle, you are also now you're managing your own hotels, and at the same time you're contributing to the locals businesses as like the chair and the director, and also like for New Zealand Chamber of Commerce, Taranaki Chamber of Commerce as well. How can you manage like with one of the aspects that students always look at, like, I had too much, and how can I manage it? How can I do everything great? So because you're involved in so many different roles, what would be your the secret, like, to manage everything and be the best at absolutely everything?
Thanks. I think you can do more than you think, and I enjoy being busy. So it's maybe not for everybody. Perhaps I am crazy, but I do enjoy giving back, and I enjoy that community. And I think if you look at hotels, wherever they are around the world, a hotel is a big part of any community, right? So it's really important that we connect with our community, whether that's through the businesses, through the charities, through the locals, the retailers, the restaurants and bars, because we are a huge employer and we're a huge connector. So all of the things I do, whether it's through the Chamber of Commerce or through our local polytechnic and WITT, all these different things, these are all to give back. And I just know that through the investment, I mean, in time, that ultimately that the whole region will do well economically. We might get more people coming to our region or investing in our region. We might get a few more tourists coming in. The business community flourishes and does well. We'll get great talented people. So if you think bigger picture about everything like this, and a more holistic mindset, bigger picture stuff, all these different responsibilities and roles are all connected, and they all do great things for the community, but ultimately the hotel benefits because we are part of a more thriving and a better community and a better business community and a better region. So I think everything's all part of it. So if you kind of take that as part of, it's your responsibility as a hotel general manager to be that connector, to bring the community into the hotel and vice versa, then I think all those roles just become part of your day to day. And then just get good at prioritizing the tasks that are important, because we all get hundreds of emails every day. And I think what you've got to learn to do is not stress about things. Focus on what's important today. What can I do today that's going to have the biggest impact? So if I need to fill the hotel up today, I might have 5 rooms available to sell. I can't sell those rooms tomorrow. I've got to sell them today. So I don't have that opportunity tomorrow to do what I want to do now. If there's an issue with a guest, I may not have the time tomorrow to deal with that, because by that stage, a bad review's online. I need to prioritize those things. So if you get good at prioritizing, like everything as well, then it's actually really good. You can fit in a lot more than you think.
Absolutely, yeah, but it's still like challenges, like for a lot of people as well. But from like what you share here, hopefully like a student will get some tips from that, and also myself as well. Like time management is really important, and productivity at the same time. So sometimes it doesn't go hands in hands between the two, but it's also like to hear your insights as well on this matter. Yeah, so some of the students saying that they try to catch up because you're speaking a bit fast, but I'm asking Chum to translate the key points in here for the student, and also I record as well. Sometimes when we talk, it's kind of hard to know, okay, we have to slow down.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I'll endeavor to slow down. I'm a very fast speaker already, so I'll do my best, and apologies for those that can't.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so I can understand, because sometimes like my mind spoke faster than like reality. So yeah, sometimes we can forget as well. But the students just keep trying, and also we have Chum there. And she's also a former PIHMS student as well, and she's working for PIHMS Vietnam at the moment. So she's will be there to help the students understand. But all right, so everyone, so now the first part that we know more about Daniel and how he can achieve his outstanding result by now, since graduation, and hopefully our students take notes as well, and the recording will be sent to you. And now we just would like to go to the juicy part from the employer's point of view. It's really important for you to know what employers are thinking about, what they're looking for, and I bet it's so important, and it's not every day we can have this kind of conversation. So it's our privilege to have Daniel here today, and yeah, so we'd like to dig deep into the insights. So hopefully you don't mind. Yeah, so so as your general manager, right, and you obviously we have to do a lot of interviews and employing staff, like from like for different roles for the hotels, and also like at the same time you deal with a lot of other stakeholders as well to make sure that everything's running smoothly. So with our students here looking at studying in New Zealand, it's something for them to prepare ahead. Who knows, like you might be their employers in the future, because our students, like you already employ some of them already. So yeah, so I'd like to ask that what are you looking for in employees? Like, for example, you can receive hundreds of applications and then you only have 3 positions. How can you, what are you looking for?
Absolutely. So I think the most important is attitude. So if you think about someone coming into an interview and you have no idea who they are, you want to know this person actually cares about what they do. It's not just a job for them, and they're wanting to give everything, and they see this as being a career. So we can then invest in our time to develop, to train, to mentor them. So I think attitude's really, really important. And I think it comes down to what I was saying earlier around passion and loving what you do, and let that come through in the interview. I always ask the question when I interview, what is your favorite hotel in the world and why? And I ask that question because I want to know that they truly are in the game of hotels, and that they love the industry and they love everything about it. And because of that, I think that's you start to see if people are probably authentic, and if they really see this as a future career and are willing to put the hard yards in to get to that point. So I think that's really good. Another thing that all of you students can be looking at now, and we have, I talk about this personality piece and attitude and passion. I suppose that's kind of like how you come across and how you can talk and how you can connect and smile and make people feel really special. You need to complement those skills with, your wonderful personalities with the attention to detail. And the attention to detail is so important because a lot of our team come in and interview really well, but they let themselves down later down the track with basic English, mathematics, just, those simple things that we take for granted, like doing an email, having a, phone conversation with somebody. So don't underestimate the importance of English, and I think that's going to be interesting. It's part of all of your journey at the moment, I'm sure, but no doubt, between your, with the Vietnamese and with the English and everything there, you're going to find that right balance where, think about how you can put a good email together and structure that, the words you might want to use, the tenses, and also just make sure that you deliver. So we have a lot of our team that kind of come in, again, doing really well with the guests, but sometimes they make the same mistakes over and over and over again. So check your work, and that might just be checking an email, checking a reservation that you've made, a piece of work that you've done, read it over again, be your biggest critic, and then the work you'll be putting out will be really good. We all make mistakes. Everything's not always going to be perfect, but I think if you can learn from those mistakes quickly and not be afraid to say, oh, I did that, and you're not making the same mistake, 3 or 4 times over again, then those skills are going to be really good. So just to reinforce, I think like that attitude piece, that passion, that personality, and I think the attention to detail are just some things that I look for when I'm interviewing people.
Wow. So these are top 3 skills that employers are looking for from employees. So everyone, please take note because it's extremely important. And so what would you do? Like, for example, like this is your requirements and all the skills that you're looking for, but not everyone can have everything like at the start. Would you compromise or they must have those 3 in order to get a job with you?
Not at all. No, I think number 1 is attitude, right? And I think Coach said it before. I saw it pop up in the notes. And, you can train and get the skills, but attitude comes from you. And if you don't have your head in the game and generally come across as wanting to learn and being willing to learn, then the industry won't support you to the same degree. So I think number 1 is that the attitude. And if you come into an interview and you are passionate about it and you're saying, hey, I really want this job and these are the reasons why, we can train you with everything else. So number 1, I would hire people based on attitude over everything else. All the other stuff will come with time.
Absolutely, yeah, because it's a stepping stone, it's a foundation for everything moving forward. Yeah, so Absolutely. Thank you very much. And it's super important here. So I just would like to ask you, like from the students, like from any new application, they have to send you CV first because we have a session on CV today. So as you receive, can you see personalities through CV, or it's only go to the next stage, like with interview?
Yeah, I can see it. I think a lot of CVs don't stand out. So what I would say is keep it professional, but see what you can do to make it stand out. Less is more, you only want 2 or 3 pages max. And I use a little trick, and you're welcome to use this trick on my CVs when I had to put one forward, which is probably a long time ago now, as I put the brands next to my places of work or where I've studied. So if I've studied with Intercontinental, I might put down the role that I was executive housekeeper there for a while. So I might put down executive housekeeper, the dates and everything as well. And then I put the logo of the company next to it. So it adds a bit of color, the importance of brand, and I put those brands next to my places I've worked. And small things like that can bring through a bit of personality, still keep it professional, but it just stands out from everyone else. So you've just how you word things as well. I think short and sweet is probably a good way to go. And also just make sure that you're not making the mistake of having spelling issues, anything like that, because unfortunately that's a really easy throw out if you know, people are making basic mistakes, because if they can't get their CV right, then how are they supposed to get the job right if they were lucky to get it right? So there's a few things like that, just so, you know, get someone else to check it for you. Get your, you know, get your friend, get your parents, and get them to look over your CV. The more eyes, the better. Try and keep it a little bit unique. And I suppose in the cover letter as well, if you know something about the property that you're applying for or the place that you want to study or work, if you can add a bit of that research and knowledge into it. So it might be that, you know, if your cover letter, you know, dear Daniel, I just want to reach out. You know, I've heard a lot about King Queen Hotel Suites. It's a wonderful boutique hotel. It really connects well with me. I love what you're doing, and I'd love to be part of your team. Grateful for the opportunity to have a conversation. It can be as simple as that. So a cover letter can be a bit more connected. So if it looks too generic and you're sending the same cover letter off to every single employer, then we can see that, and that's probably, oh, they're applying for lots of jobs. Do they really want this one? So a few little tips there.
Absolutely, yeah. So thank you very much for the reconfirms about what you have just mentioned on the CV, and you know, have to make the employer feel special, and you have to mean it, because the employers can see through, and it's something that is important for you to know, because you know, it's not like they know nothing. If they don't see you, it means that they knew nothing, but they do know. Yeah, so thank you very much, and it's great tips. Yeah, so yeah, so I just you know, like with the students that especially like you employed not just the students from PIM, but also students from or other people from different disciplines. So in general, what do you think, like what skills that students are lack of after graduation?
Sorry, the skills after graduation.
In general, yeah. So what skills are they lack of?
Oh, do they lack of?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think they tend to lack much. I think it's just about what's right for the organization. So I think one thing to note is the right fit for the right person as well. So sometimes it's not so much about the skills, but it's actually around the hotel and the fit and that connection as well. So are you connected to that brand or to that particular business and everything too? But I don't necessarily think that they're lacking skills as such at the moment. I think it's more about everyone has a good skill base, but you want to be the best. So if you want to stand out, you've got to do a bit more than everybody else, right? So what was great about PIHMS for me is that when I came out of PIHMS, I went to Intercontinental for a recruitment day for this graduate program. And what happened there is that I was competing with other people who had university degrees and all sorts of business pieces, but my degree from PIHMS and my experience made me stand out from the crowd. So if anything, what you want to do with whatever you choose to study is you want to pick something that's quite specific and focused on one industry. So if you want to go be a pilot, don't do a business degree, then become a pilot. Go train and become a pilot. If you want to be a hotel manager, go to somewhere like PIHMS because it's specific to that. So I think that is maybe something around, you know, the course you're picking and everything too. So it's not so much the skills, it's probably more around how you stand out from everybody else. Because I think you'll find now that most people have got degrees. Most people have got a basic element of skills. So it's going to be, again, that personality and maybe what you've chosen to study and where you've gone that will make you stand out from the crowd.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thank you very much for that. And yeah, it's easy said than done, isn't it? Like because everyone wants to stand out, but how to is the issue. And also like with the students like from all sort of background, not everyone like looking at like PIHMS because they are learning about PIHMS at the moment, and they might want to be an accountant, they might want to do something else. But then what if like they want to go to work for a hotel in the future? Let's say they study different discipline and then they want to work within hotel departments, in hotel industry. So what would they need to prepare now in order to fit in with the hotel industry?
Yeah, so I think, you know, you're going to make some good connections through your study, right? So when you go off, even now, like you're making good connections with Na, you know, I'll call it a coach there. And I was listening to the end of that presentation. That was really good. So you're already meeting people. And I think those relationships are really, really important. So some of the things that you can bring in to, you know, anything you're doing initially is like, you know, you can do a bit of research about the industry and people, but also I think, you know, a lot of those relationships. And so don't underestimate as well the power of relationships and the power of getting to know people, no matter how irrelevant you think is at the time, because those people will end up being the people who will offer you the job. And I have no doubt probably one or two of you perhaps in the future will come and work for us at King and Queen, or I'll come and meet you through PIHMS, or I'll help you to get a job connection. So, I mean, that power of that relationship, and then that's the sort of things that if you start to think bigger picture beyond that, that this is a bit of a journey, and you've got to be patient, and you've got to build your foundation and work your way through the different stages, and know that the good things will come, and ultimately the success and money will come over time. Think about all the things you can do now, and I think a lot of that's about being aware of those crucial contacts that ultimately you might rely on one day for a reference, or for a conversation, or for a coffee. And a lady who I've just hired recently is from London, and she's come across here. I met her through another hotel manager in town, and her name is Liv, and she's come in as our guest experience coordinator. And we had a coffee because she was interested in studying hotel management, and she wasn't quite sure if she wanted to do some work first or go into study. Turns out we had an opportunity for her. So now she's gone straight to a job, and then she's looking at studying at PIHMS soon, or vice versa. So, some of those initial conversations can lead to other things. So just start to think about how you can be your best ambassador and represent your personal brand as well, because you are who you are, and you will bring different skills and different things to an organization. So be proud of who you are. Presentation, being kind, being caring, being polite, but being ambitious will all be things that will help you later on.
Absolutely, yeah. Thank you very much for that. It's very valuable what you have shared, and also for some students, they consider to study at PIHMS, or they from this different discipline, and they're looking at like doing master programs. One thing that I have noticed that we have so many students at PIHMS already, and we've seen their progress, and even like they move on to do other career in the future, like after hospitality, and they seem to be able to fit in very well. So it's a skill set that they have, that transferable skills that they can put themselves in any other situation, that they can be very successful. Like from your experience with students, like when they study from or somebody study from hospitality, and they go to work in hospitality, and what are the future careers that they could look at? Like let's say after 5 or 10 years they wanted to change, do they have to be in hospitality forever, or would they have like other opportunity in the future as well, like open up the door?
Yeah, that's a really good question. No, I mean, you're certainly not limited. There are endless opportunities, whether that's through hotels or whether that's beyond hotels. So just think about hotels for a moment, right? So think about the hotels as a world within a world. So you come into a hotel, and yes, you could be working in front office or food and beverage or housekeeping. But then beyond that, think about all the specialty roles there are. Human resources. Now there's financial controllers. We have sales and marketing and revenue experts. We have engineers. We have a dedicated workforce that's quite specialized from lots of different areas. So you find there is always naturally a cross mix. And so within one hotel, like I mentioned in Wellington, I was there for 3 years. And I would have worked through the first year, 3 departments, and then 3 more departments in my next 2 years in different management roles and leadership roles. And you can just see how you can do so much in so many diverse roles, going from operations to sales to finance to general management so that's really exciting. So there's lots of variety, lots of change. So you might end up specializing in one area, like human resources, and then you could go off and then become a human resources manager in a completely different commercial environment, because those skills are transferable. Likewise with revenue or sales and marketing. So a lot of my colleagues and friends have gone off to study at PIHMS, and then they've gone off and to do good things. Like some of them are hotel managers, and one's just been appointed as the hotel manager at the W Hotel in Sydney. Some of them are general managers up in Auckland and around New Zealand and various hotels. So absolutely, you can go down that path of being a hotel general manager. You might do something more boutique and owner operated like me. A friend of mine owns some restaurants and bars in town. So he's a co-owner, a part owner of a wine bar and a couple of other restaurants and a really neat beer brewery. So he's got an ownership stake and just more food and beverage. So let's look at that huge opportunity in hotels and tourism. We can go off into work for different things, and there's a clear link with airlines and tourism industry as well, and all those different roles. Now, out of hotels, lots of my friends have gone off to study again beyond that, because they've got a degree or a master's, and then they only have to do a short piece of study to get onto something completely different. So already they're stepping up here and they can just go to here, or they've got onto completely different industries. So a couple of my people I work with, my colleagues and friends, they've gone off to sell homes and house and land packages, and are doing very, very well financially, or selling cars, or they're off into different industries, or they're starting up their own businesses, or they're working in any industry that is about people and management and customers. So you can go and run a supermarket, you can go and run a shopping mall, all those different things. So I think, by studying a career in hotel management, you are giving yourself a wonderful foundation to start and go anywhere you want. You have a huge world out there internationally, or maybe you come back home to Vietnam one day and run the local hotel and be a big part of your community. So all those things are great. And then if you find that you want to try a different industry, you've got the skill set, you've got the people skills, most importantly, and the knowledge behind you. And you're ultimately, remember, you are running a business. So you can go off and run pretty much any business that you want. And you've set yourself up really nicely for that. So the opportunities are endless, whether that's in hotels or not.
Absolutely, yeah. Thank you very much. And it has been proven as well. I've seen that, and it's hard to believe, like, for somebody that they're not there yet, or they haven't seen that yet. But now looking back, like with the students, they have transferred to somewhere else, and normally they go through the interview. Obviously, like you said, like the attitude is so important, and the attention to details and the experiences that they carry with them, that set them apart compared to others as well. So that's how they can achieve their goals. So yeah, thank you very much for that. So one more time, reassure with our students about what we talk about, the transferable skills, that how important it is. And now I would like to ask you another question that it's a question by not just me, but like by the society, by parents, by students, because the COVID, it's been like 3 years already, right? And we can see how the hospitality has been damaged, like been hurt heavily by COVID. And now that I can see in public, people are worried, concerned about, okay, if I should enter hospitality, like for my future career or not, or, so what do you say from your point of view? Should students consider hospitality as a career post-COVID?
Well, no, I have to say that this is the best time ever to study hotel management, because we've come out of, you're right, a tough couple of years with COVID. We've survived, we've got to the other end, and this is a time where there is going to be a boom for our industry. Now, it's going to take a little while to recover. So if you're studying now, you'd have to say that this is the best time ever, because the opportunities are going to be huge. There's been a lot of hotels that have had to shut down or furlong their staff. But you think about all of the new jobs and opportunities that will be alive when people start to travel again. The industry is going to be crying for good talent. And there are going to be so many amazing jobs out there that you can take your pick where you want to go, what you want to do. So I don't think there's ever been a better time to study hotel management, because this is really the recovery that's going to start now, and we have a lot to look forward to.
Absolutely, thank you very much. And I also received some questions like from students to say that, okay, because for you, it took you 3 years since graduation to become a general manager, and obviously not everyone can dream that. But it's achievable and it's possible. And the question, like, because the students here, they are like international students, they're from Vietnam, from Cambodia, from other countries as well. They would like to know if they would have the same opportunities as the locals and Kiwi students after graduation, to be able to be promoted to this kind of position, in the management position.
I think anything is possible, right? And it's all about you. You know, you're in charge. I think, first of all, you've got to get the qualification and open up the opportunities and build those relationships again. But ultimately, you know, if you work for a good employer, and I think pick a good leader who's going to help you to train and develop and open up doors for you, then all of that is absolutely possible. It doesn't matter where you come from, which country, what language you speak. If you were driven and passionate, then the world is your oyster. I also think in saying that, don't be afraid to take a bit of time and build that foundation. And you'll find that if you just continue to grow and grow and grow and say yes to everything, yes, I'll work the nights, yes, I'll work this shift, and I'll take this responsibility, and I'll move here, and you become incredibly reliable, but you also, you know, show some ambition and say, hey, I'd love to be doing this one day. Don't be afraid to voice that respectfully, in a good way that shows that they are, you know, can know where you want to go. Then why not?
Yeah, thank you very much for that. It's so important. It's all about you, who you are as a person, what you can contribute, and you know, if the student allow themselves to explore all of those opportunities, then they can achieve it. And it's so good to hear from you as well as employers and also as the you know, giving students. So if you see that, so obviously like the opportunity is endless, like for anyone who has the right attitude and passion and desire to be successful.
Definitely. Yeah. And I've seen a lot of people from PIHMS who have gone off and they've been from Southeast Asia, or they might have come in from Japan, or potentially, you know, even from China or Russia. And these people have all had good opportunities in New Zealand, and some of them have gone off to be rooms division managers or operations managers or general managers. So, you know, sometimes the timing, it can be different for everybody, but ultimately, if you're good, the cream always rises to the top.
Yeah, absolutely, and thank you. And also, like I received question from students, like to say, because ultimately they would like to be in leadership positions, but as since they graduate, they will just do the entry level, like for example, housekeeping or the rooms division, the front office, or the food and beverage. So they, like with PIHMS students, they have a choice, either way, and they said like which position would be best to help them to be promoted or have more opportunities to be promoted to like duty manager and beyond.
It's a really good question. I don't think there's a right or a wrong answer to that. I took a different approach, and I ended up being the executive housekeeper in charge of 50 people. And I did that when I was 21. And that was an amazing opportunity to lead the housekeeping team, get my hands dirty, get involved. So I don't think you can really take a wrong approach. Some people have always said you should go through the rooms division track. Not necessarily. I think if you can excel in food and beverage, that's not a bad place to go, because food and beverage, the turnover tends to be quite fast. So you might end up running the restaurant as a restaurant manager or a director of food and beverage quicker than you might do in rooms division, because there's only so many roles as duty managers or front office managers. So I think being open to all of those parts of the hotel will keep your options open. If you're fussy, it may take you a bit longer to grow, but perhaps you're happy with that as well. So I think, yeah, you can pick any sort of area in the hotel, and I think, yeah, you just got to keep on a good path. And again, a lot of it's going to be around the company that you choose to work for, because there is a variation in different hotels around how they invest in people. And Intercontinental was great to me around providing amazing opportunities to grow, and I felt very supported. A lot of hotel companies do that, but I think pick the brand, pick the leadership and the people, if you can have access to them, over any money or title to start with, because those things will come naturally and you'll do very well in the future. And I think you'll find that the rewards are absolutely there, and you'll have a great life for you and your family. So those things will come, but don't be afraid. Just take your time. No, don't have to drop your ambition, but build a foundation, use those connections, be a really loyal person. And just one quick story I'll tell you is from a colleague of mine, and this gentleman here was from the Cook Islands, so from the Pacific Islands. He came to work at King Queen Hotel, it would have been about 7 years ago, and he couldn't speak a word of English. So his mother-in-law came into the hotel and said, would you take this gentleman on just to help out in housekeeping, just as a volunteer? I said, absolutely. He then went on and he studied at PIHMS, became a hotel manager, got some experience, and went off to Hamilton and to some different places and worked in hotels. And then he came back to me and said, hey, Dan, have you got an opportunity for me? I'll be keen to work. And his English had improved and he got better, but I knew he could work hard. He had a good attitude. He had passion for the industry. Then he got promoted. Now this gentleman here is actually second in charge of our hotel now. And from coming from somebody who could speak zero English, very shy, not very confident, to being now our most senior leader in the hotel after me, shows that anything is possible for you guys. So I think that's quite an inspirational story. I think, you know, he's been hired and given opportunities based on how hard he's worked, how much he's given. He's coming at nights, he's taken the phones, he's volunteered for this shift, he's never said no. If someone's sick, he said, I'll come and work it. I just know I can trust him. And he does a wonderful job with our guests. So, you know, again, for coming from a tiny village, an atoll, a reef in the Cook Islands with no cities, no walls in his house, a family of 15 children living in the same house, to come into New Zealand, study at PIHMS, to work with us. He has a great life. He's looking at buying a house now in New Zealand. He's just got married. His life's set up for him. He's done very well.
Wow, such a powerful stories that you share with the students. I'm so grateful for that story, because just for them to be more confident that, you know, it's not about nationality, it's not about anything superficial, but also about themselves and what they can contribute. Yeah, such awesome story, and thank you very much for that. Yeah, so our time's almost up, and the last question I'd like to ask you is that would you like to have any last advice you'd like to give to our students who are looking at studying in New Zealand, looking for like a wonderful or sustainable future in careers and also and beyond?
Yeah, thanks, Nah. So I think the key is, whatever you end up studying, love what you do, then you never have to work another day in your life. Now, that's not necessarily 100% true, because there'll always be some days that you don't want to go to work. That is natural. But I really think that if you have that passion and you really enjoy it, you will go far, and that will show. And again, just using those relationships and networks and learning and doing stuff like this, you know, learn from all the wonderful people around you, from your lecturers, from your fellow students, from the industry. You know, you're always learning, and that never stops through your whole life as well. And I think, you know, just also remember in hospitality that the core of what we do is around service. And service means that I'm really happy even now as a general manager to take some guest bags or clean a toilet or do whatever I have to do. You know, all those core things, deliver room service. Don't ever get too big for the industry that you sign up for, because everything we're all about is trying to please people, give them a wonderful experience if they're here for business or for pleasure. And I think if you stay true in your heart as to what you love about what you do, hospitality, hotels, is going to be an industry that'll be incredibly rewarding. And I think, you know, like we always talk about, hospitality has a really bad reputation of being low paid, bad hours, working, you know, different night shifts. Trust me, if you work hard, show a bit of patience, take those opportunities, then you'll have a very successful career and you'll make some good money and you'll have a wonderful life, and the opportunities will be endless, and you'll surpass, you know, some of your friends who will go off and to do commercial, lawyers, accountants. You know, you'll fast track past them. You might start well behind them, but over time, you know, you'll have a lot to look forward to. So the industry's bright. So ultimately, you're going to succeed in all those things. And so there's just a wonderful world of opportunity out there. And I think I wish you every success. And I look forward to hopefully meeting some of you if you come to New Zealand and come over to study at PIHMS.
Beautiful. Thank you very much for that. And we truly appreciate you, and with all of your wisdom and experiences, and share with us your insights today on Sunday afternoon in New Zealand. And I mean, like, how can we say thanks to you, right? You're just amazing as well, and we truly appreciate you, and thank you very much for coming here today, sharing with our students. And this the recording, and if you don't mind, I'd like to share with other students as well, because we had like almost 700 students register for the whole boot camp. It's running over 6 weeks, and it's one of the sessions, but like some people can attend in different sessions, and also like I'd like to share with the students this one, and hope you don't mind. Yeah.
Go for it. Absolutely. It's been a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
So thank you very much. And all the students, if you would like to say thanks to Danielle, please just type in the chat box in English, please. And then Danielle will be able to read that as well. So children said, truly appreciate your time for us. And said, thank you so much for all of your advice and for spending your time with you and your career. All the best. And so we said, thank you very much. So I'm sure that there will be more coming in as well. So yeah, so thanks, Danielle. And I guess I can return you back to your family.
It's a pleasure. They're fine. They're all happy. Thanks, everybody. All the best day.
Yeah, thank you very much. And I look forward to seeing you in New Plymouth sometime soon.
Sounds great. Thanks, everyone. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you very much.